Wow, we have a lot of folks joining from all over the country. It's great to have you join us. Bienvenidos, welcome, and thank you all for joining our virtual Hacking a Career workshop. This workshop is meant to provide valuable insights and tips on how to navigate today's workforce. And so in today's session, you will hear from key members from several companies who will share their expertise and valuable guidance to help you thrive in your career journey. So with that, we would like to thank our great partners and sponsors. Thank you to Aristocrat, Avery Dennison, Federate Hermes, FreddieMac, General Assembly, LPGA, and Shein for making this event possible. Before we get started, here are a few housekeeping rules to keep the workshop as smooth as possible. If you have any questions during the presentation, please feel free to type them under the Q&A icon found at the bottom of the Zoom bar. Feel free to share any comments under the same chat icon and make sure to set it for both panelists and attendees. That way everyone can view it and join the conversation. We feed from your energy, so let's make sure everyone could jump in the conversation by making sure it is set for everyone. All right, so during today's session, we will cover topics such as resume prep, how to optimize LinkedIn, create a strong personal branding, and more. We will also hear directly from our partners about their open roles and tips on standing out. So without any further delay, let's get started with our resume and LinkedIn preparation. How can we make our resume stronger and use LinkedIn to our advantage? Today, we have Marisol Camilletti from Aristocrat to give us a bit more insight on what advice makes our resume stronger. Thank you for joining us, Marisol. The virtual floor is yours.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Jessica. Hi, everyone. My name is Marisol Camilletti. I'm a global talent acquisition partner here at Aristocrat, who is a global leader in the casino manufacturing space. I wanted to talk to you all from the inside view of recruiting with some hopefully helpful tips that maybe you don't hear all the time. For those of you who are active and passive job searchers. The first impression that I normally get of you is from your application, right? So your resume really is that first impression that I can get. And so when I'm looking through resumes, I want to look at a resume and understand what you are capable of doing. When I talk to the hiring managers about their jobs and what they need, they will break it down to me about truly day-to-day tasks that they will need this person to do and be capable of doing. And if there is enough time and availability for training up skills, I'll know that ahead of time as well. And so when I'm looking at some resumes, I go through quite a few different thoughts, right, as a recruiter. And so the first thought is when I see a resume that has applied to a job that maybe has none of the experience that I'm looking for, I really question, how did this person decide to go for this? Because sometimes the processes may be very long, right? And so you going through and stepping out of your comfort zone to apply for a role, I really try to look for anything that might fit into that job. There's other opportunities or other resumes, I should say, that I look at and I see like a glimmer of hope. I see that they've listed in their bullet points maybe half of what my criteria looks like. And so at that point, they make it into my maybe pile, like okay, this would be someone that I can talk to and probably dig out more of what they're capable of doing that maybe they just didn't know how to write into their resumes. But I'll be honest, there are some other people who will put in their resumes exactly what I'm looking for, right? And so I want to talk to you guys about how to be that first person that I want to call, as opposed to putting you into my maybes pile. So the first thing I recommend for someone who's actively searching for their next job is to do a search of the jobs that you think you are interested in, capable of, that are a really, it's a nice next role for you, right? That just makes sense for your career. Take some time, look at the job descriptions and the qualifications, and think to yourself, are there items that you've been doing in your most recent roles or in a previous role that fits into this? And really start listing them out, right? You can kind of make a note if you see that there are certain qualifications that are across the board for that role. make sure that those are the very first bullet points you put into your resume, because that will be what gets our attention first. Now, do not copy the bullet points exactly as you have read them. Make them your own. Explain to me what you did with those tasks. That will really help us understand you better. Now, once you've added in everything that you think is relevant, I think it's time at that point to narrow in on what you're really trying to showcase. I know that you've all heard that ideally a resume would fit on one page. And to be honest, I don't exactly agree. I don't think everyone's resume would fit on one page, right? I will say I recommend not putting in more than 10 years worth of experience, because you want what's the most relevant to be what pops up. Now, if you've been with the same employer for the last 10 years and you want to go back to doing something that you used to do, that's when I would say, you know what? Absolutely add that in there, put in some context, let the recruiter know that you're trying to go into a different space that you had some interaction with before, and you have some experience that would be relevant. For example, if you worked at the MGM casino, because I'm in Vegas and that's my space, and you were in an administrative capacity for the last 10 years, and you decided, my next step, I want to go back into working at a call center, but working at a higher level. And before working at MGM, you were in that space for a couple of years. At that point, I would absolutely say, go ahead, put in everything you did in that space, explain to them why you're capable of going back, even though you've had that 10-year difference in what you've been doing. So, yeah. Now, if you are at the start of your career, you're not going to have 10 years worth or 3 pages worth of experience to put in there. And I think that's totally fine. At that point, one page makes sense. I don't think that it's necessary to put in information that isn't relevant to what you're trying to get out of your career, right? So if one page is what you've got, then make that your page. But if you're a senior level person who's ready to move on to the next senior level job and you need more pages, put it in there, because I'll tell you, I will flip to the next page to get more information about you with no worries about my time. My job is to get to know you as best as I can, right? So, also, when you're narrowing in on your resume, I would really recommend that you try to think about what you've done in your most recent role, your previous roles, and really add in there, like, who did you partner with? What software and what systems did you use? Did you receive any awards? Did you revamp a project or a product? Did you create any reporting systems? All of these things are worthwhile additions. And I want you to impress me, right? This is your time to show off. You've worked really hard. Tell me about it, right? Tell me why you're my person. And so when you're telling me about it, I really also recommend that you take your time, reread what you've written before you submit it anywhere. Have a friend reread it. Check for grammatical errors. I can't tell you how many times I find typos in the summary of the resumes, in the bullet points, sometimes even in the titles. And I know that it's just a simple error, but when I'm looking for people in roles that require really high attention to detail, like in financial services, legal services, product support, you have to slow down and you have to take a look and make sure that what you're putting in there is correct. And honestly, last year it was recommended to me to take on Grammarly and just download it. And so I have the free version, and I can't tell you guys, it's changed my life. My work emails no longer have errors randomly. My paperwork that I have, it just makes sense, right? Even the free version will underline anything that's misspelled. It will highlight any grammatical errors. It'll even tell you if something needs to be reworked because it just doesn't sound right. And so I think that using a software like that really will be a benefit for you, especially knowing that I will only look at your resume once. So next, I would like to talk a little bit about formatting as well. because formatting is very important. I know that most of us have heard that we need our resumes to stand out and to look different than everyone else's. And I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that everyone's experience tells their own story. And as long as it's neat, it's clean, it's not five different fonts that are in cursive or, some are italicized and some are bolded. And it, I don't think it's necessary. For me, I like to see a clean version. I can read it. I can understand everything you're trying to say. Honestly, I would suggest picking a font that's legible and that you like. I mean, it can be as simple as our handy dandy Times New Roman that we all grew up with, and it will be just fine. And so another thing around formatting is I have started to see that when people have gaps in their resumes or in their timelines from one job to the next, instead of showing the dates that they worked, they will remove all dates altogether. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that approach because I think it would be easier for you to just put a little bullet saying, hey, I was looking for a job from this date to this date, or I had a family to take care of. And it'll answer any questions that the recruiters will have, as opposed to us thinking now that you're hiding something, right? So when people start to remove dates from their experience, it makes me think, okay, were you only there for a month? What happened, right? Were you, um, were you just not happy there or what was going on? And so then it just leads to more questions. I will say for some of us who have started in contracting work to get more experience, I did that myself. A lot of contracts are short term. And so if that's what you're doing to get your foot in the door at companies, I totally agree with it. But you should make a note so that the recruiters know, hey, it wasn't that I hated the job or that I wasn't good at it. It was simply that it was a contract role. And so I came in, I rocked it, and then I went on to my next one, right? And so those are kind of my suggestions around resumes that maybe you don't hear all the time. And then for LinkedIn, a couple little notes here. So for those of you who maybe don't already have a LinkedIn, I really, really recommend getting one. It is free. LinkedIn is a global leader in the space when it comes to looking for jobs, to showcasing your work. These days, you can learn more about different companies. You can keep in touch with old coworkers. You can also take free classes to upskill yourself in different spaces that, again, they're free. And so that's my 2 cents on that. But also to my active applicants who are on LinkedIn that are messaging either the recruiters or the managers of the jobs that are posted, I really recommend making sure that your LinkedIn is up to date first, right? Your LinkedIn should be, in my opinion, almost a spitting image of what your resume is showing. I want to know where you've worked, what dates you've had, and if you can, and if you're willing to, share a couple bullet points of what you've been doing. Because when I do get those emails from people, the first thing I want to do before responding is follow to their page and see what they've been up to and see if they would qualify. Because in my mind, I know what we're looking for. And so whenever I go to a LinkedIn that's not updated, I may think you don't have the experience that you need because it's not there. Or if you don't have anything written on there, it's a little bit tricky, right? And so I always recommend update your LinkedIn before you start messaging people within LinkedIn about jobs that you're interested in. Now, if you haven't updated LinkedIn, I 100% recommend adding your LinkedIn link to your resume. For me as a recruiter, a lot of times I will follow that LinkedIn profile because either I have questions about the company you worked at, which will help me find them faster, or I might not think that you're the right fit for this role, but I think you'd be great for my company. And therefore, I want to make sure that I can keep in touch with you. And so I always recommend adding that in there. And then what else is there? Oh, also, important. So open to work banners. We all have the option on LinkedIn. I know we all think that our managers will see that we're saying we're open to work, Good news is that our leaders will not see that. Someone can see it only if they have a LinkedIn recruiter license, like a recruiter like myself. And so when I do my searches, I'm looking for people who are open to work, who are interested in hearing from me, because that'll be the quickest turnaround for myself. And so those are just a couple areas that I would focus on LinkedIn, right? Just to make yourself look more available, make sure that everything is up to date. And I mean, my suggestion is get your resumes updated right away, even if you're not looking, because you never know when someone like myself will reach out to you on LinkedIn and it will just be the perfect opportunity for you. So yeah, those are my notes. Back to you, Jessica.
Thank you so much, Marisol, for joining us and for sharing those excellent tips on how to have a strong resume and a great LinkedIn profile. And for those of you all, I hope you all took good notes. Marisol shared got a lot of great tips, making sure that you look at the job descriptions and qualifications and make them your own. And so if you have questions, please make sure you submit them in the chat, and the Q&A icon. Will be answering them as we go throughout the sessions. And so moving along, uh, because just we have so much to cover, let's start the conversation on personal branding. So why does one matter, and how can it set you apart in the job market? We welcome Janelle Rayford to join the conversation, who has made such a big impact at LPGA. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to hearing your advice, and take it away, Janelle.
Thank you, Jessica. Hello, everyone with the Hispanic Heritage Foundation. My name is Janelle Rayford, and I have the humble opportunity to serve as the Senior Director of Recruiting and Analytics at the LPGA. And I'm excited to follow Marisol with the conversation about resume, because it's the perfect segue to about personal branding, because your personal brand is who you are outside of the resume that's going to help you get that next opportunity. It's your new value proposition, how you present yourself to the world, what are people saying about you when you're not in the room, and the impression that you leave on others. So can you intentionally build your personal brand? Absolutely. If you think you haven't intentionally been working on your personal brand, you already have one. So it's very important that you pay attention to how you show up in order for you to take control of your narrative and control of your personal brand. Because how you communicate your interest on your resume, how you talked about the impact that you made and the things that you did, those are going to be the next things that are going to help you get the next job or continue to grow in the role, the company that you're already in. So to talk about personal branding with the story, I'm going to use my story to give more reasoning as to why, personal branding, is important. So as you can see, there's 3 brands on the top of this page. Those are the 3 brands where I've worked since I've graduated from Loyola University in marketing several years ago. My first job was with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. My brand was knowing to get things done and for leadership. I'm not sure if anyone's aware of or remembers that show Grey's Anatomy that has like 50 seasons, but everyone called me Bailey because everyone knew that Janelle was going to hold you accountable. She's going to make sure that you get the work done, but she is going to be so passionate and empathetic and making sure that you grow in the career that's important to you. So that's why you see a picture here with me supporting athletes in their careers and with our team and leadership, because that's what I really enjoyed. I loved coaching, I loved developing, and then I got the opportunity at Southwest Airlines. When my first day at Southwest, they said, Janelle, you're going to be leading the pilot hiring team. I didn't know anything about airplanes, but because I love to coach, I knew I could be coachable and I would learn. So with Southwest, we had amazing relationships. I was able to build a brand around mentors, professional relationships, and I was able to get introduced to the Hispanic Heritage Foundation. And we were able to do work within Southwest with tours for the members. I was able to support scholarship applications. So like at Enterprise, I was involved in the community, same thing at Southwest. So it's important as you're looking at different jobs that you are aligning with like-minded organizations, that you can show up and be, your authentic self. And because that's a lot easier than feeling like you don't belong. And that's when imposter syndrome can come in. And that is something that I had to work on. So if you understand who you are, your values, your opportunities, and what makes you a strong individual, you'll feel more confident in your ability to lead and make an impact. So I was not looking for another job. At a conference, I met someone up here that worked at another airline, and they had an opportunity available. And it wasn't the right, one for me because I wasn't looking for a job. But they knew someone at the staffing agency that called me about the LPGA. At the time, I did not think of opportunities in sports. I'm a huge sports fan, as you can see, but I didn't even think about the opportunities within the $10.2 billion industry of golf. I never played golf, but then I figured out, hey, if I learned how to be effective with airplanes, I can learn about golf. So here I am at the LPGA, and I'm able to do similar work as I did with Enterprise and Southwest, continue to grow in my career, continue to have an impact in my community, and continue to expose, opportunities to those who have never thought about careers in aviation or in sports or so forth and so forth. So next slide, please. So why does personal branding matter? So this is a picture back in 2016 at Southwest Airlines at a volunteer opportunity with the team. The three ladies within that picture, all of us are in recruiting, all of us are on LinkedIn, amazing, amazing individuals. We all started at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. We all left at Enterprise at different times, but managed to show up at Southwest Airlines together. And now none of us are at Southwest Airlines anymore, but we are all able to have very successful careers, even though our brands were distinctively different. The lady with the glasses, she was known for being more quiet and soft-spoken. Koryu on the end, she was more of a cheerleader, which comes with her background and culture from Hawaii. Mahalo, that's what she would say if she was here. And then me in the middle, I was known as being more strategic and being able to be more of a listener and being able to have different ideas. So because of the branding that I had with being able to build relationships, I was the one that got the opportunity to lead pilot hiring. And I was in a room consistently. I was the only woman, and especially the only woman of color. And them knowing my history and my story and how I showed up in meetings gave leadership confidence that I was able to do it. And because I was able to be successful in that space, I felt confident moving into an industry within golf that looked very similar, but knew that there was a place for me and knew I can show up as myself. My brand allowed me to control my narrative. And so that's why it's important that you understand what your brand is if you want to be known as the thought leader, if you want to be known as being strategic, if you want to be known as that individual to go to if you need something fixed on your computer. So that's very important to control your narrative so you can be vulnerable so you can make mistakes and not be afraid to, so you can continue to grow in your career because people trust who you are and because you know who you are, because you can show up as your authentic self. And so your brand is also allows you to create meaningful connections. I go back to the three of us. We all three of us are planning a trip to go to Seattle to visit Koryu and Amazon. We're our emotional support system when things get hard at work, when they get hard at work. So having people that align with your brand and appreciate your brand is just as important to having leadership understand your brand. Okay, next slide. How to build your personal brand. I think throughout the day, you're going to be hearing a lot about LinkedIn. So optimizing your online presence and being intentional about how you tell stories is going to make you be more authentic and more relatable online and offline. So here's examples of LinkedIn and Instagram. Some people will say, Janelle, well, why would you put your daughter, on LinkedIn? I do that because when I'm at work, it's very rare that I have a conversation with anybody that does not include my daughter, Zoe. She is amazing and I absolutely love her. So I want people to understand who I am on and off of the golf course and on and off at work. My daughter's a dancer and we go to a lot of events. And when I'm wearing LPGA swag, I run into a lot of dads who have daughters. So, and then they ask me questions about golf. So you just never know when you'll be able to have a conversation, to build a fan base, be engaged and make connections. And so the picture in the middle at a Southwest conference, that's my daughter and my mom. So that shows individuals that, hey, Janelle is very dedicated to her family and that is her why and that is her motivation. So when Janelle is talking about this project, this initiative, this is one of the reasons why she wants to be successful, and leadership definitely understands that. And I can leverage that in the workplace and outside. And so the following one is my year anniversary post at LinkedIn. Again, that's a picture of my daughter. She always loves to sleep and she's known for sleeping whenever she comes to see me at work. And so everyone, and then I get a lot of people, even senior leadership, that are still asking me, hey, is Zoe still asleep at work? I'm like, yep, she still does it. So, and again, and when people are able to trust who you are, they can trust the work that you're going to do and how you're going to impact the company. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so a few key takeaways. Your brand is your professional reputation, and it's going to evolve as your career evolves. And that's totally, okay. When I first got to Southwest, I was told that I'm not going to be successful because I was too quiet and focused and heads down. That was my brand at Enterprise. So I thought that was going to make me successful at Southwest. So I had to adjust, but I still was able to adjust in a way that was authentic to who I am. So I leaned in to my relationship building and my coaching abilities in order for me to enhance the Southwest culture, but still authentically being able to be myself. And because of that, I was able to continue to grow within my career, at Southwest. So it's definitely okay to enhance, change, and grow your brand as you grow, in your career. So definitely leverage your digital platforms for visibility. It can have a negative impact. So, if you haven't looked at your social media in a while, maybe a good time to go clean up the socials that may not reflect, who you are now. You may have posted something in 2017 that may not reflect who you are now. So take some time to make sure that your brand is consistent on social as it is in person. Everyone is kind of seeing that if someone says a controversial topic around a certain issue, be mindful of that when you're posting, because you just don't want to make your brand negative based off an opinion. So not every opinion has to go on social media. So just be mindful of your brand when you post things that may be perceived as controversial. So make sure you keep on updating your LinkedIn profile. Make sure that your messaging about who you are and what you stand for is consistent, even though it can evolve. And brag on yourself. That's how people are going to understand your brand. Talk about your accomplishments, talk about your achievements, talk about, things that you've learned at events like this. And that's going to also make you stand out when you are in front of a leader or in front of a recruiter talking about the impact that you can make in a certain role. So that's all I have. I wanted to make sure I stayed on time here, but thank you for the opportunity to talk about personal branding, because it is extremely, important to be consistent in who you are, because that's going to continue to be more fulfilled and confident as a professional. So thank you so much. And back to Jessica.
Thank you so much, Janelle. Thank you so much for sharing the invaluable insights into personal branding. Everyone who is listening online, make sure you're leveraging your natural skills just like Janelle is, and that your online presence reflects your values and who you are. And so expanding on this, let's talk about what if we want to branch out into the tech world with some of our skills that may be different. Are these skills transferable? What if we're looking into positions ourselves in a new career field? Well, we welcome Eric from General Assembly, who can possibly give us answers to those questions. And so thank you so much for joining us, Eric. The virtual floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Jessica. First, I want to thank HHF for this opportunity. I wanted to thank Marisol and Janelle because of the fact that this is going to be the theme, how to enhance your personal branding, but also enhance your resume so this way you can stand out. And really, that's sort of the theme, right? Is to stand out from the pack, just because you know that you're not the only one in this position. So as you can see here with personal branding, I made great friends with our marketing team, and I wound up being on all of the sales decks that we send out. So thank you to our marketing team if they're seeing this. Next slide, please. So a little bit about me, so this way, everyone can know who I am and where I'm from. I'm a proud Mexican American. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. So all of those people that are here from New York, Nueva York, my Bad Bunny fans, let me know in the chat if you're proud of being Puerto Rican or Latinos or anyone here, and then we can catch a beer somewhere here in New York. But yeah, I'm a native New Yorker, born and raised. I'm very proud of the community that we have here. My favorite superhero is El Chapulín Colorado. So for those that know him, he could have definitely saved us during the pandemic. And then I am a tech nerd at heart. I've worked for Dell Computers for about 10 years, servicing the Department of Education. And if you've ever been to a public school and you had computer rooms, actually, we were part of that team that initiated those projects. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. And then we can jump really quick into how you can basically hack a career in tech. So next slide, please. See, I love the chat already because they know Chapulín. So we know right away that to get into any type of technology, any type of tech, you need to upskill yourself. What we see in the market today with the organizations and companies that we speak with is that every non-technical role, such as like frontline workers or folks that don't have to deal with technology or coding every day, will one day have to know about AI, will have to know about data visualization. They would have to know these type of concepts to future-proof their work in the next like 6 months to 1 year. And we see this change happening very quickly because of AI. AI is being introduced as far as ChatGPT or any type of like co-pilot within organizations. And where we're seeing is that organizations are doing the best to reskill individuals into these tech roles. So what this means is that everyone here, in this event, will have to somehow prioritize learning the new tech stacks. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to be a coder overnight, but the introduction and the foundational skills will definitely benefit you in the long run. It'll separate yourself from everyone that's trying to go for roles because you've introduced that type of learning or early on in your career. So here's like six ideas on how to future-proof yourself when coming into technology. You've heard a little bit about personal branding and enhancing your resume. Enhancing your resume also deals with, I believe Marisol had mentioned, like the tools, the platforms that you used. If you start upskilling yourself today and making sure that you have those tech stacks available and put that up on your resume, recruiters will see that right away and saying like this person either knows the foundational skills or can be taught even higher, and then you become more of a priority for the recruiter to get interviews. Plus, the hiring manager will also see this and see that there's not much I can train them on because they already know it, so they become ahead of the pack. So that's why you have to embrace lifelong learning. Tech skills are going to be changing now faster more than ever with the introduction of AI. So if there's any type of like classes that you can take, any YouTube videos that you can see, or even partner yourself with, if you're in an organization already, partner with your IT team to see how things move or how things work, how things deploy. It'll benefit you in the long run because if you decide to go to another opportunity, you already have that knowledge and now you're ahead of the curve. Develop these soft skills as well. Technical upskilling or reskilling can be done, but if you don't know how to, uh, speak to folks in regards to what you're doing or break down problems and then help solve them, it might become a disadvantage. So what we recommend, or me personally, is that you get out there in the world. Personal branding is great. I believe that you should put yourself out there, update your LinkedIn. What's also great, and in addition to that, is that you network yourself live. We've become in a world where we're coming out of COVID and everything's video, which is great, but now everyone's coming outside and meeting people one-on-one. There is where you become different. You basically do not become a resume anymore. You become a person that they've met, that they know, and it's like, wow, this person is actually really great, really culture fit for the company, and I might have an opportunity. Or in the fact where if they don't have the opportunity, they can refer you to someone that does have the opportunity. So in the case that if you go like to a meetup.com or on LinkedIn, they have free events, or even the lower cost like events, I would definitely suggest that you take advantage of those things because of the fact that you become someone that they know and that they refer from the resume, like, wow, I met Eric at this event. He's a great fit. He has the skills and we can upskill him. Let's give him an interview. So as you know, in this market, there's 1,000 resumes out there going after one job. So going to events definitely helps out. Like how Marisol and Janelle had mentioned, create that personal brand online. Perfect, within the workspace, obviously LinkedIn is going to be the top priority, just because a lot of the recruiters, a lot of the hiring managers' first stop is going to be LinkedIn. They want to see what job history you have, how does that relate to the job that you're going to apply for, and making sure everything's up to date. The last thing we, as hiring managers or folks within the recruiter will want to see is an outdated LinkedIn, because there we assume that you haven't been working, or we assume that something's happening and we don't know where your current skills are. So we want to make sure that everything is updated. So this way, when you put your resume through with your LinkedIn link, they can reference everything from the resume. Network strategically. So if you go to these events or if you meet someone, you want to make sure that you align yourself with like a career or a person that can help you. It's great to meet everybody at a conference. It's great to meet everybody in general, but you want to make sure that you're very targeted, because somebody told me that one thing that somebody does not get back ever is time. And you can't buy it. So you want to make sure you take advantage of every second that's given to you. So when you go to networks or when you want to make a career path, let's say into tech, you want to align yourself with the people that can help you get to that next level. And you want to make sure that you're intentional about that. When you see someone that has a position of power where they can hire early career talent, or someone within your organization that sits in the department you want to go, align yourself to them and say that, hey, I want to raise my hand into this position. Something very important is that you seek mentorship throughout my life. I was never afraid to ask for help or ask for advice. And I think sometimes, like me growing up, I have this situation where I was growing up, it was seen as a sign of weakness to ask for help. Just because like the era that I grew up in, men shouldn't ask for help. But the thing is, I was introduced to people in my life to think about that differently. No one gets to the position by themselves or where they want to be by themselves because they had help along the way. So you want to make sure that you seek mentorship and you seek guidance and you ask for sound advice. Have them give you constructive criticism in regards to your resume or the way you speak to someone in regards to the background that you want to go or the department you want to go to. And tell them, hey, can you give me live feedback? Like, what can I fix? So this way you can practice and then take that to the next level. And then adaptability and career transitions. A lot of times within tech specifically, General Assembly, we have around 60, well, actually all of our alumni are career changers. They were once teachers, nurses, they were police officers. They were everything but a technical, like a data analyst or a data scientist. And they used all of those soft skills that they learned in their previous roles into tech. So this way they become better software engineers. Just because software engineers and data folks, they have to speak to the business versus the technology department. So the business naturally wouldn't know anything in regards to SQL or Python or generative AI. They just want to see the results. So with the soft skills that they developed throughout their careers, they put that towards what they're learning today. So this way it's a smooth transition. And we want to make sure that everyone has those type of skills because 2025 is ending soon. And I know it's March, but as you know it, time flies so fast. So you want to make sure you take advantage of all of these upskilling and reskilling opportunities, especially in tech. Next slide, please. So in summary, you want to make sure that you invest heavily in your skills development, whether that's soft skills, hard tech skills, and making sure that you build connections with the people that can help you get to the next point of your career. You want to make sure that you have all of these problem-solving skills, as a Mexican American, soy Mexicano, and I've been problem-solving since I was 3 years old. And I've been project managing since I was 4, doing quinceañeras and making sure that, we have all of these parties in my sala. So, making sure that, my project management skills definitely helped me out throughout my whole career. But make sure that you also enhance and make sure that you also build on top of that during your current work environment. And if you're not working, I'm pretty sure everyone here has project management skills through their personal lives. So make sure that you enhance those skills, make sure that you get free classes going or that you see something online or that you speak to people and what their experiences look like. So this way you can learn from them and put that into your current process. Next slide, please. So on behalf of General Assembly, and because we believe in lifelong learning, we believe in future-proofing everybody's work. And I know this will be sent out to everyone here. But as a thank you to not only HHF and to everyone here, including every panelist here, you can take GA workshops that are involving AI for data analysis and data visualization, Excel fundamentals, because who doesn't love Excel? Not me, by the way. And then IT security and fundamentals and UX UI design. So from these courses, we're going to give you a discount code, $200 off, to make sure that everyone has that opportunity to get upskilled. Make sure that these introductory courses can help you at least become a starting point for your careers. We want to make sure that everyone, especially people that look like you and I, have that opportunity to get future-proof. Because as we know, technology is going to move so fast, and we want to make sure that not only we have a seat at the table, but we also have a voice at the table. So that is me, I believe. I think that is my last slide. If you double check. Oh yeah, and connect with me on LinkedIn. See, personal branding. Janelle, you see, Marisol, the linked. So I know this deck will be sent out to everyone. So take a picture. I should have put a barcode. I mean, it might have been easier, but please connect with me on LinkedIn. Lean on me on my network in the case anyone needs any help in regards to upskilling or reskilling or just breaking into tech. So that is me. I think I rushed through it, or I think I was on time, but thank you, Jessica, and back to you.
Thank you so much, Eric, for joining us and for sharing all that gold nuggets for our audience. And a common thread that we're seeing with Marisol, Eric, and Janelle is making sure you're all are upskilling and intentionally creating a brand for yourself. So here at HHF, in addition with the offer that Eric has shared with you all, we have creative partnerships such as with IBM Skills Build, where we share or offer free credentials in different fields such as tech and AI. And those are some that you can include in your LinkedIn and share and put in your resume when you're applying to these career opportunities. So we're going to share more information in the follow-up in addition to all the amazing resources that our speakers have shared today. And so moving on to the next portion of today's Hacking a Career workshop is we have a few speakers who are on the line who are going to be sharing about why their companies are great to work for. We'll hear about their corporate culture at their companies and also what they look for when meeting new talent. So specifically, they'll share about open roles that are currently available. And, even if it may not be a fit today, meeting these hiring and HR managers will help you and aid you in navigating through the HR recruitment process. So first off, kicking us off, we have Marie McNamara, who will tell us a little bit more about what it's like at FreddieMac and their current opportunities. Take it away, Marie.
All right, thank you so much, Jessica. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to first thank all of our speakers this afternoon for all of the incredible guidance they've shared. And thank you all so much for being here this afternoon. My name is Mary McNamara, and I am a senior talent advisor supporting Freddie Mac's university program. So I'm really looking forward to sharing some insight into our internship and full-time opportunities, as well as some tips and tricks to best succeed in our recruiting process. So we can go to the next slide. Can actually skip on to the next one too. To start off, I'd like to share a bit about who Freddie Mac is and what we do. Our mission at Freddie Mac is to make home possible. We're a Fortune 50 company with a unique mission in helping America's home buyers, homeowners, and renters by providing liquidity, stability, and affordability to the housing market. We can move to the next slide. And with that, I'd love to talk about how you can get involved in this incredible work at the intern and analyst level. Our internships and programs for new graduates give you the opportunity to take on a variety of challenging roles and make your mark on several projects. Our supportive and inclusive environment will allow you to gain confidence, see your ideas take shape, and build a network of people who are invested in your success. So we'll break down the roles within the university program a little bit further. Our university program offers two kinds of roles. So like we said, the full-time analyst position, as well as the intern position. Now, our intern roles are for students still pursuing their degree and interested in a summer job to further explore their career. All of our internships take place in the summer between May and August and are geared towards rising juniors and seniors. And within these internships, our areas of opportunity are expansive, with our hiring teams looking for skill sets in accounting, business, computer science, finance, investment banking, software development, and more. And then for our full-time opportunities, these are going to be our analyst positions. So they'll be for students who have just recently graduated from college and are looking for their first full-time opportunity post-graduation. And then similar, of course, to our internships, we have a wide variety of opportunities here for students. And then we can move to the next slide. So traditionally, a large portion of our recruitment takes place in the fall. We post most of our positions in the July, August timeframe, and we're currently just about wrapped up with our intern and analyst positions that were posted back in July. We recruited for these all throughout our fall season. However, we do typically recruit for additional intern positions in the springtime as well. So those usually go live in December and are recruited for throughout the spring. And at any time, all open university positions are posted on the students page of our career site. So we'll begin recruitment for next year, this upcoming summer. We always love to hear from students who may be interested in applying, no matter what time of year it is. We'd love to hear from you. And I would definitely recommend keeping an eye on our career site for postings that go live. And of course, feel free to reach out to us, even if there aren't live postings. We'd love to hear from you. So a little bit about the process of the recruitment. After applying, our team of talent advisors will review your application. They'll then determine if you're qualified to move forward to our first round interview. Now, this is going to be a one-way self-recorded video interview where you record your responses to a set of questions from our hiring team. And after that, we'll review to determine who will be invited to the final interview. Now, if you have the chance to go to the final interview stage, you'll have the opportunity to meet directly with the hiring team so they can learn more about you and you can ask any questions that you might have. And then, of course, if selected for an offer, you'll then move forward with our recruitment team to go through our offer process and onboarding. All right, we can move to the next slide. Now, with all of this in mind, you might be thinking, how do I stand out in this process and how do I make myself known to our hiring teams? And our biggest advice always to students is to research the company that you're interviewing with. You don't need to become an expert in housing mortgages, but having a good understanding of who we are and what we do will take you a long way in interviews. Also, having a positive attitude is the number one piece of feedback that we receive from our managers as a quality that they're looking for in candidates. They love to meet a student who's excited about the work that they do and can see this opportunity benefiting their career. I also definitely echo all of the advice that has been shared previously, making sure to really showcase your efforts in the projects and anything else that you've worked on. Making sure to provide those examples will take you a long way as well. And then to get into the more tactical side, this again might be a little bit of an echo here, but please ensure that your resume is up to date. We really want to see everything that there is to know about you and your background. Make sure to list the month and the year of your graduation, all of the specifics throughout the timeline of your experience. It'll really go a long way with recruiters as they identify which opportunities are best for you. All right, we can move to the next slide. Now, throughout the year, I encourage you again to keep an eye on our students page. We have the link right here to our career site, and you can apply directly to any positions that may interest you. So want to thank you so much again for taking the time to learn a little bit more about FreddieMac and our university program. We're really looking forward to remaining in touch with you.
Thank you so much, Mary, for joining us and for sharing that amazing opportunities and walking us through the process. I know that's very helpful, and we'll make sure to work closely with you to share any follow-up information with our audience. And so our next speaker we have is Lucea de Lima Spellman from Federated Hermes. She's going to be joining us and sharing about a little bit about her experience and the culture at the company. So I welcome you to join us, Lucea. The virtual floor is yours.
Thank you, Jessica. Hello, everyone. My name is Lizzie Spellman. First, I want to thank the Heritage Foundation to inviting me to participate on Hacking Your Career. I want to share, since Eric shared as well, that he's from Mexico. I am from Brazil, which is part of the Latino community. So it's a great opportunity to be here with you all. And sharing a little bit of my experience. I'm going to bring a different perspective compared to everybody else because I do not work in HR. Technically, I was in the international students and, moving to a career path in the United States. So I want to share a little bit with you about that. But before we dive into that, I want to share about Federated Hermes. So Federated Hermes is a global leader in active responsible investment management with $829.6 billion in asset under management. So our clients include intermediary firms, such as investment advisors, sponsors, corporates, endowments, foundations, and public entities. We have a headquarters in Pittsburgh since the company was founded in 1955. And we have several other offices in the United States, including Boston, Chicago, Houston, New York City, and of course, we have also international locations, including Ireland, Germany, and England, specifically London. The company offers a very conservative and professional work environment. We are deliberate and thoughtful in our approach to decision-making. The company fosters an inclusive and respectful workplace where unique perspectives, ideas, and experience are recognized and appreciated for the contributions that the firm brings. We also love to treat our employees with dignity and respect. We have to make sure that in the workplace today, and we promote doing things the right way and always with integrity. We pledge also to commit putting the firm clients first and acting responsibly and transparently. And now moving forward, after introducing the company a little bit about our current positions. So our internship positions, it's usually, as Mary explained about FreddieMac, goes into the next year. So if you're looking for internship positions, it's going to open in fall of 2025. And then the positions is going to start in summer 2026. We do have some positions that sometimes open up during the fall term. So I would recommend everybody to check the website and see what is the position that we have available. We also have entry-level roles, so you can check there We have in different departments such as information technology, accounting, investment management, and corporate governance. So please check our website that Andres probably is going to drop off in the chat. And then one thing that I want to point out about the company, since I have been in the role for 2 years and 3 months, I want to share of the process of interview process, which probably some of you are going to go through right now in the perspective of a candidate. I think that's so important to share too, which we all know sometimes when you look for, like we're researching for interview process, how it works, what questions they're going to ask us. So when you start looking for that, you're going to see some of the first interview questions that you're going to have, like the screen questions, is going to be always very similar or the same. So always, make sure that you check all of the those questions, trying to see what the company is talking about, what they are. As Eric mentioned, like research the company, see what they're doing, what the area, and how you're going to match your skills with them. So everybody talks already about like your resume, but when you're in an interview, like the first screening is when the HR person is going to feel who you are and if you're a great fit for the company. Which sometimes I think that this screen interview is kind of like hard because you have 15 to 30 minutes to talk about yourself. And it's, like it's a short period of time. So make sure that you have your elevator pitch ready to go. You have your answers ready to go. And of course, some of the applications that you're going to do to the company is going to be a little bit different because you're probably going to be applying for different positions because you want to ensure that you're at least have a foot at the door in a company when you graduate from college. So ensure that you always study before you go to an interview process. And one thing that I want to mention too for Federated Hermes that for me stand out was the screening interview time, which was 45 minutes to an hour, which helped me to feel comfortable during the interview process, helped me to show who I am and how I could fit into the company, and also to learn more about the company, like what is their views on their side as well, if they fit on my looking, right? Because we cannot always think about how we're going to fit in the company, but how the company is going to fit with us as well. So always keep that in mind. And I want to say as well that we always think about transferable skills. So always think that everything that you're learning right now can be transferable, can go to apply to different positions. I want to mention that I do not have the background in investment. So my background is in animal science, which is not connected to the investment side, but throughout my career, building different types of skills throughout different roles, we definitely can have these transferable skills. So make sure that you mention that into your interview process or your resume somehow, as Marcel mentioned at the beginning as well. And if you have any further questions specifically about Federated Hermes, please feel free to send an email to me and connect with me on LinkedIn. It's going to be Lisa Spellman. If you look for the link, Jessica, please share that as well. Be happy to connect. And if you have any more questions on that, please feel free to connect. Pass to you, Jessica. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lisea, for joining us and for sharing about the interview process that Federated Hermes has and sharing the invaluable tips. Aside from always preparing for the resume, you always have to prepare for the interviews as well. And so having that elevator pitch is key. So up next, we are welcoming back Janelle Rayford to share roles at LPGA. Take it away, Janelle.
I was enjoying everybody else's content so much on mute. I forgot I have to speak again. So I'm excited to chat about the LPGA, the Ladies Professional Golf Association. So we are the world's leading professional golf organization for women. We were founded in 1950. So this year we are celebrating 75 years. So you may have heard of the WNBA. You may have heard of the NWSL. You You may have heard of all of the amazing, you know, WTA in women's sports. The LPGA was the first sport association for women, and we're excited to reflect on our 75 years and the 13 founders that had a vision to empower women on and off the golf course. And so not only do we showcase the most dynamic professional women in golf, but we have a place for golf for everybody that's interested, from the little girl from our girls golf programming that puts the golf club in their hand for the first time, individuals like me that got a job in golf, so realize that I may need to learn how to play. For those that are young professionals that realize there's a lot of networking opportunities that happen on the golf course, so that's a very important skill. To those that are, you know, more of a retirement age, so wherever you are in your golf journey, the LPGA has a place for you, and that's where we have a team around 200 folks and here in the United States, and our global entities is LPGA Asia and the LET Tour that supports individuals that are interested in golf. So, do you have to know how to play golf in order to work at the LPGA? Absolutely not. But do you need to be passionate to work for a mission-driven organization? Absolutely. We are a nonprofit, which was a surprise to me when I was doing research about the organization. And so everything that we do and the revenues that we bring in go back into supporting our initiatives of showcasing the best golf athletes, you know, in the world. So when you're looking for a job with the LPGA, it starts with our career site, lpga.com/careers. We may not always have an opportunity open that definitely fits your skill set. So that's why you'll see a QR code with our career interest form on here. So if you fill that out, make sure you put on there that you heard about us, you know, through the Hispanic Heritage Foundation. I'm always searching first for the organizations that we partner with when it comes to doing that initial resume review. Who works for the organization that aligns with our mission? So once the application comes in, then the first step is the interview with the recruiter, and that would be me or somebody else on my team. Want to make sure that your skills and that your impact aligns with what we see on your resume. Then you'll have a conversation with the hiring leader. Then we have another round with our executive leadership team, and then, hey, welcome to the clubhouse. So we're super excited. The interview process is very seamless. It's all virtual. We have some roles that do require that you be located in Daytona Beach, Florida, like working in the staff accountant position or the help desk analyst role that's currently open. But then we have other roles like our tournament rules officials that are remote and require a lot of travel. And so another tip to add to your resume, you don't put your address up there, but I do like to see if someone is open to relocation. I would like to know where you're mainly located, if you're here in Texas, if you're in Florida, and if you're open to relocation, because that is a big deal for a lot of our roles. So we want people that are mission oriented, have grit, resilience, not afraid to say, I'm able to jump into another team with sales and marketing. I want to learn about what properties are, because you'll have the opportunity to have a huge impact in a space that's becoming very important in women's sports as we grow to make it more equitable across the board. And as we continue to grow to inspire, you know, little girls all the way up to individuals that are executives. So connect with me on LinkedIn. I want to see the career interest form, and please, if you do apply for one of our roles, you know, please do not hesitate to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Said, hey, Chanel, I applied, and we'll have a conversation with you. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Janelle, for sharing and for that great tip in terms of if you are applying to LGBT GPA from HHF from the session, make sure you put that there. Alrighty, so up next we have Megan Schaefer from Avery Dennis, who is going to be sharing a little bit about the roles that they have available. Thank you so much for joining us, Megan. Take it away.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Megan Schaefer. I'm a talent acquisition leader here within Avery Dennison, and would like to go ahead and walk everybody through a little bit more around who Avery is and our values. So if we want to go to the next slide, we can actually go to the next one too. So who are we? Avery Dennison is a global material science and digital identification solution company. We provide a very wide range of branding and information solutions that optimize labor and supply chain efficiency while reducing waste, advancing sustainability, circulatory and transparency, and better connect our brands and consumers. Our headquarters are here, well, I'm here, I should say, in the Cleveland, Ohio area, which is in Mentor, Ohio. We have roughly 35,000 employees worldwide. We operate out of 50 countries. Our sales last year was 8.4 billion, and we Fortune rank as of the end of 2024 too was 421. So we want to go to the next slide. So our competitive advantages, so on a global scale, we have 200 operating locations, recognized industry leader with a global footprint, including strong presence in emerging markets. Material science expertise, right? Vertically integrated in adhesives is a big area for us. We really focus on advancing process technology, operational and commercial excellence, and then industry-leading innovations, enabling functionality and sustainability. Go to the next slide. So some of our values here, we really strive and drive from our values, right? But a few to point out here is, we have integrity, our external focus, sustainability is big too. We're focused on that long-term health of our business planet and the communities, diversity, right? Really gaining that strength from our diverse ideas and our inclusive teams, teamwork, innovation, using imagination and intellect to create new possibilities, courage, and then excellence, right? We expect the best from ourselves as well as each other. Go to the next slide. And then here are some of our current roles, right, that we're really recruiting and focusing in on. So from an environmental health and safety perspective, we actually are looking for a summer intern or co-op. We have an EH&S early career program as well that we're looking for talent for, as well as electrical engineering interns, process engineers. We do a lot of process engineers and manufacturing engineers across the board, right? As well as accountants and, some more process engineers and the focus around some of our exact products. So like our film, and that would happen in our film plant. So a lot of our information is on our career sites, and really encourage everybody to take a look at that, and also reach out, to me on LinkedIn, just to echo what everybody else has said, right, regarding your resume and your LinkedIn profile. It's really, catering your resume to each role as well, I think is very important too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much,
Great.
Megan, for joining us. And
Absolutely.
I hope if you all didn't get a chance to get those QR codes, no worries. We'll send them after today's session so that you have that available. And we look forward to see if there is any interest there. Moving on, I would like to invite back Marisol Camilleri from Aristocrat to join us and share any roles available at the company.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for bringing me back. So on our end, a little bit about Aristocrat, what we do as a company so that you know what to expect in terms of what postings we have is that we are one of the top manufacturers in the casino gaming space. So what that means is we make everything from the slot machines you find in the casinos around the world to proprietary software that support the back end of the casinos. And then we have worked our way in the last couple of years into more of the mobile gaming space, because in the US, you guys probably don't know, there's been a lot of changes around legislation. And so now people are allowed to gamble on their phones real money, as opposed to just playing like the social games that we always had. And so there's been a really big push in that space. And so we have mobile applications that will allow you to bet real money, win real money from home. We have also we now have the mobile lottery, so iLottery. We do this for 4 different states in the US, as well as a couple of provinces in Canada. And then we do have as well our content and aggregation platforms that will showcase our competitors' games in the mobile game space for a fee, of course, because, you know, why not? And so all of this to say is yes, we are a casino gaming space. However, more than anything, we're a technology company because we are manufacturing the technology that supports the entire industry. And so we are about as global as it gets. We're now up to 56 different countries throughout the world, which has been super exciting for us. Now, as we can kind of imagine, our footprint is the largest in the US space. And so this is still where we have the majority of our employees, but we have employees out of Latin America, out of Canada, London, Spain. We have a manufacturing plant. We have India, of course, a really large corporate office. We have moved into Poland and Bulgaria, and we're now in the Philippines and Macau because gaming is becoming more prominent in Asia Pacific. And so it's a really exciting time for Aristocrat as a company. And so all that to say, there are many ways to get into Aristocrat. We have all the roles that you could imagine. So anything that has to do with HR, legal, finance, product support, engineers, data analysts, anything that a company would need to survive with, we have it. And honestly, because we have so many product lines, a lot of times we have extra well, because we have structures under each product line, basically. And so we have multiple opportunities within those different spaces. And so if you see a posting that you're interested in and you've interviewed and maybe you're a runner-up, but you don't get selected, it's very possible that in the next 6 months, there will be another opening on a similar team that does the same thing, just for a different product itself, right? And so just being able to kind of keep your eyes on our postings is really important. If you're trying to get in that way. But also we do have internships, right? So we have internships that we're going to start recruiting for in this, actually we're in March. So like end of April, we'll start interviewing for our summer internships. Now, those summer internships, just so you know, they do need to be either in the Vegas area or in the Tulsa, Oklahoma space because we do have a manufacturing plant there. And so for our interns to get the best bang for their buck, if you will. We want you guys to be able to come in and see how a global company does things in person, get to know everybody, see the software, feel it out, and really get the feel for that. But then for those who are recent grads, we do have a 2-year rotational program where you can test out 3 different departments that you might be interested in. And so you'd get about 8 months in each where you get to live and breathe those departments. And at the end of it, you pick which one you want to work for. And so, yeah, just a little bit more about Aristocrat there. Definitely recommend checking out our openings. Right now, we do have about 55 openings in the US. So
Thank you so much, Marisol, for sharing those opportunities. And something that you mentioned in passing is, you know, if you don't get the role now in 6 months, there'll be another role that is
more
open.
than likely.
Right. And that's something to share with all the other companies, right? Just because you get a no now doesn't mean it's a no forever. And so keep applying, and you'll eventually land that yes. And so with that, I would like to bring our last speakers of the day, Ashley and Cameron from Shein. Thank you so much for joining us. The virtual floor is yours.
Great. Thank you so much, Jessica. My name is Cameron. I am a senior talent acquisition partner with Shein, and Ashley and I will be presenting today. I know we're a bit short on time here, so I will keep it nice and brief, but we wanted to give you some background on the company, shed some light on the interview process, and then Ashley will, tell you a little bit more about how to access our current job listings and apply. So I'm sure many of you are familiar with Shein. But for those who are not, it's an e-commerce marketplace, largely offering apparel items, but we've made a big push to move into other categories like home decor, beauty, cosmetics, household essentials, and other categories as well. And, it's definitely a very exciting time to come on board our team within the US. We're a very established company globally, serving over 150 different markets. And the US is a very core market for us, like over 30% of our consumer base, but we really didn't have an operational presence until about like mid 2021 here in the US. And so we've scaled up our technology teams. Shein Technology, that's the company that Ashley and I primarily recruit for. Right now we're at 155, 160, largely cybersecurity and engineering focused staff. And we are, in many respects functioning like a startup here in the US. So we have an interesting kind of environment where you have like the backing of a large company, but at the same time, there's definitely like an opportunity for personal progression, as well as an opportunity to make an impact that you wouldn't really have in more of an established base. So, I would encourage you guys to take a look at some of our job offerings, and with the interview process, it's pretty standard. I would say we can be generally pretty efficient. All things considered, we do start with a typical recruiter call. Where we can align on the position. If it's a good fit, get you scheduled to speak with a manager for a first round interview. And then, for technical positions, sometimes there's an assessment, whether that is an online assessment or more typically that'll be a conversation with one of our engineers. And then the next and final step will be the on-site interview at the respective office that you'd report into. We have all of our on-sites at the location that you'd be working in, and you'll have a chance to meet with a few members of the team one-on-one, and our HR department as well. So I'm going to hand it over to Ashley, who's going to, tell you guys a little bit more about kind of how to access the jobs, how to apply.
Hello, everyone. My name's Ashley. I'm a talent acquisition specialist here at Shein. Thank you, Cameron, for giving a little context about what we do. I'm going to go over how to apply to roles with us. So if you're interested in a career with us, there's really two main ways of exploring jobs. We first have our internal career site, which is linked in the PowerPoint presentation. It's careers.shein.com. There you can really filter by location, job titles, keywords, or you can check out our LinkedIn pages. We are often posting new opportunities, so be sure to follow us on LinkedIn to get updates. At Shein, we have two main business entities. So we have our Shein Distribution LinkedIn page, and then we also have our Shein Technology. So make sure to check out both for job opportunities. Our distribution page focuses more on like our marketing, seller success, onboarding, stylist, producer roles. And our technology covers more engineering roles like security, data, machine learning, and things like that. Tips for applying, I know it's already been said before, but make sure your resume is up to date. Highlight relevant experience. Also read over the job descriptions carefully. We are an on-site company, so make sure that you're reading the role, the responsibility, and highlighting in your resume, how you would be a good fit for that position. And pro tip, on our LinkedIn page, you can check which recruiter posted each job role, so you can message them directly if you have any questions about the position. Like I said, we are an on-site role, so our distribution center is located in Los Angeles, and then our tech roles are primarily in San Diego and Seattle. So yeah, basically, if you're looking for a very fast-paced, innovative environment, much like what Cameron said, Shein would be a great fit. So be proactive, connect with the recruiters on LinkedIn, and we look forward to seeing your applications.
Thank you so much, Cameron and Ashley. And we will be following up with the information shared today, as well as LinkedIn profiles for you all to be able to connect with our speakers that were joining us today. And with that, I want to acknowledge that we are over time, but we are going to be getting to your questions. Our speakers have graciously offered and accepted to answer your questions offline, and then we will be following up via email with answers to your questions. So thank you so much for all of you joining us, for engaging in the chat, and for submitting your questions. And a special thank you to our presenters presenters, our partners and sponsors. We really appreciate you joining today's Hacking a Career and sharing current career opportunities. We hope this Hacking a Career workshop provides you all with relevant information to navigate today's workforce. And feel free to join us on social. So we will be sharing a recap of what's presented over email, like I mentioned, and of course, wishing you all a great day.